likely the ceiling of 12-5 or the floor of 7-10? Brew, we start with you.
Well, to hit the ceiling, they need to be healthy or somewhat healthy. But
This is scored, by the way.
Oh, is it scored?
This feels like a scored segment.
Ceiling with a bullet. All right?
A bullet. It's like ceiling with a bullet.
By Nick's own admission, they got the third best running back in the league coming back, Christian McCaffrey.
No, I didn't even say he was third best. I said top three.
Right.
That could
So
be better.
he'll be back. But no, look, I think Robert Saleh is going to strengthen the defense. I do think, Jawan Jennings will be healthy, although I think he'd be smart to sit out because I think they'd have to pay him.
They just paid him.
Yeah, but what are they going to do? They need Jawan Jennings. He's like their number one receiver right now. But I think Purdy is a good quarterback. The schedule is what I'm looking at, and the schedule is really, really poor. And now with Matt Stafford iffy, I think the Rams aren't going to be, what people thought. So I am going ceiling for the Niners.
Good schedule, healthy Christian McCaffrey. They drafted the first 6 draft picks were on defense, then they brought in 5 free agents on defense. They have Salah, and in my mind, those receiver situation isn't great, but none of them are season-ending, so ceiling.
You guys are, you know what I mean?
It was good. That was good, Coach. I got to give you that. That was good.
You guys are out of your mind. So first of all, we think they have a soft schedule. And it does right now look like a soft schedule. We also, and the coach taught me this, we don't know. We don't know if the Cardinals
But you are a
going to
schedule
be
guy.
bad. I am a schedule guy, and it looks like a soft
Cardinals?
schedule. The point I'm making is what if by the end of the year, Wild's guy's Cam Ward is awesome? You know what I mean? What if Kyler is the guy that, again...
It is the easiest. It's not one of the easiest.
It's the easiest by last year's winning percentage. I understand. And so, but
what's
that
the
is
ceiling for the schedule?
Well, regardless, the point that I'm making is that I think the schedule, while soft, does not, again, it's probably somewhere in the middle, but I think they're more likely to have a bad year. By the way, why I thought this article, I appreciate them doing it, it's giving us the segment. I thought the ceilings were way too low and the floors were too high. They didn't have a single team whose ceiling was better than 13 wins when every year somebody wins 14 or 15. And the floors, like, what they're saying the Niners' worst case scenario is win one more game than they won last year. Like, so I don't look at that 7-10 as a true floor, which is why I think it's more likely. Like, I can absolutely see a year where, to speak to what Brew was talking about yesterday, the wide receivers are injured, and what if top 3 running back Christian McCaffrey, one time almost won MVP, gets double tendonitis again? And then all of a sudden, you know what I mean? It's all on this guy's right arm. I don't trust that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about this because last year was a mess, right? Last year was a mess with an avalanche of injuries, and special teams and defense was really poor. When you actually look and see how those games unfolded, if the defense was competent and special teams was competent, they could have, without a shadow of a doubt, won 9-10 games. Without a shadow of a doubt. It's just basic math. Go back and go through the games. It's like, we're not cooking the books here. We're not doing anything fancy. We're not like, well, if they caught a touchdown pass here, we'll remove a touchdown pass over there. And if so-and-so, like, we're not even doing any of that. It's just like the way how a bunch of those games unfolded, the wins were clearly there. And you're anticipating now that this year, the team will be healthier. I still have my questions about Christian McCaffrey. I've been very loud about that. And even if he actually continues to be able to play this whole season, I do not think we get the Christian McCaffrey of the old. I do not believe that. And I would absolutely positively love to be proven wrong because I want nothing more than people to be healthy and to overcome physical injuries and their body just starting to break down on them. That's, always tough for me to personally watch. So I'm certainly not rooting against Christian McCaffrey, but I also just think that they're going to be smart in terms of their utilization around Christian McCaffrey. And if they're not, then that would actually really surprise me. And a Shanahan would go down a peg in my view. He really would. And if he hasn't learned and figured out, you know what, Christian McCaffrey's a beast, but he's been such a huge focal point of my offense, I can't have that because I don't have the trust that he's going to be able to be healthy and be that workhorse that he was in years past. And that is what Shanahan did last year. And so when McCaffrey wasn't there, it was like, uh-oh, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And it was like, you're an awesome offensive head coach. You need to be able to show more versatility and resilience. That's how you elevate to this next level of coaching. And it's why I put Andy Reid in such a high class, because he's been able to do that his entire career. And some of these more up-and-coming offensive coordinators or offensive coaches, like, sometimes they're able to prove they can do that, and sometimes they're not. Like, Bobby Slowick failed that test with the Houston Texans. I always use that as a reference point because his stock was rising, dealt with a bunch of injuries, and injuries that there still could have been a way through it, and, like, he couldn't quite help CJ Stroud out enough. And I'm like, I put that on the coach at that point. And Shanahan, I blame for a portion of the struggles, not all of it, but a portion. But I do believe, but like to continue with that thread, I believe in Robert Saleh as a defensive coach. I don't believe him as a head coach, but I believe him as a defensive coach. And I believe that this defense is going to instantly be better. And if this defense, even if you have a similar mess of an offense in terms of like injuries and whatnot, what you had last year, but just a significantly better defense, your floor is higher than 7-10. So by virtue, I'm going to say that I believe you're more likely to hit the ceiling. Now, I do agree that these teams can be sneaky, that this schedule could be sneaky more difficult, because I have high hopes for the Seahawks. I have higher hopes for the Jags. I have higher hopes for the Falcons. The Giants are genuinely fascinating. It's like, I don't know, man. Jackson Dart is looking really sharp. So I'm like, I don't know. And I kind of believed in Jackson Dart, but then when Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams passed on him, it made me then think like, I kind of like, well, Sean McVay knows more than me. So then I started to cool off on Jackson Dart. And then I'm watching him play, and I'm like, see, this is why you said that he should be drafted over Shador. And it's just like, yeah, I know. But like, why didn't Sean McVay want him? So like, I don't know, him and Brian Daboll, like that now, week 9 now suddenly potentially becomes a more difficult game. I do believe in Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans. But like, the way how I look at it is, and again, you could always say if they're healthy. But if this team is clearly healthy enough and they're not just being held together with duct tape, then I'm trusting Brock Purdy, Shanahan, and Saleh and this 49ers team to find their way through even some of these teams that are kind of surprising people, or that their quarterbacks are kind of like have some momentum, like these young quarterbacks like a Cam Ward, like a Jackson Dart, like even in a year when those teams are a lot more competitive than we're used to them being, as long as they're healthy, right? And like in this more situation is probably a little bit more dependent on Christian McCaffrey, like feeling good, and maybe he's not touching the ball 25 times a game, but he's clearly also not hanging on by a thread either. It's like, I'm going to trust the 49ers to be able to navigate that. And I will always trust a high-end, smart defensive coach to get after young quarterbacks. A great defensive coach, such a common thread with that is always being able to just get after young quarterbacks. I mean, that is just always, that's why every time we're watching these games, if they ever show like a great coordinator or a great defensive head coach, they always will show us, his record against first year quarterbacks is, 15-4 or something. Like they do that with like Mike Tomlin. They did that with I'm not going to go through the list of them, but they do it with all the great coaches and stuff. And so I believe Saleh can fit into that, even if he maybe lost a little bit of that being the New York Jets head coach, because that franchise is a mess. So even in that situation, when you're playing a team that like maybe they're a little bit sharper than we thought, like the New Orleans Saints, which I'm not necessarily banking on, honestly. But yeah, I mean, I think in a lot of ways, if you just did like an immediate quick glance at this schedule and didn't really go team for team, and obviously I know it's not 16 games, but let's just say it was just to make it the math real easy. Let's just say that this was a 16 game schedule. If you just do a quick glance at the schedule, you're like, the floor is 8-8. And you're like, can they win a few more games beyond that? It's like, yeah, absolutely. And if they're legitimately healthy and that defense takes a true step forward, and Robert Saleh's really got that defense firing at all cylinders, something that he's proven to be able to do for multiple franchises with multiple groups of guys, it's absolutely possible. And obviously 8-8 plus add another game, so like you're just right there, man. You really are. This idea that Brock Purdy needs everything perfect is absurd. Can Brock Purdy carry a team where the offense is injured and the defense is trash and the special teams messes up? No, Brock Purdy cannot carry that team. I'm not so sure any quarterback can, so I'm just not going to hang that on Purdy. But I believe Shanahan, his coaching is going to evolve. I'm excited to see if that ends up being true. I'm excited to see Shanahan's coaching take a step forward. I'm excited to see what Robert Saleh does with this defense. And, I'm excited to see Brock Purdy now under those conditions, okay, with a coach who is going to evolve and continue to grow, because in a relative coaching spectrum tree timeline, like, Shanahan still has plenty of room to continue to grow and evolve and get better and better and better and better and better. He's not set in stone either. Neither is Sean McVay, neither is Kevin O'Connell, Matt LaFleur, etc., etc. These coaches evolve and grow just like anyone else. And so Brock Purdy will benefit from that, and the 49ers as a whole will benefit from having Saleh, which then feeds back to Shanahan, which then feeds back to Brock Purdy, etc., etc., etc. It's almost like a football team is complementary, and it's almost like they're a team. Go figure. Team? No way. It's not like we don't hear this 100 times a season where they say football is the ultimate team sport. But for whatever reason, when we're having when we're watching sports talk shows and having conversations, we throw that out the window. We get hit over the head every single year we watch football. You hear that football is a team sport. It's the ultimate team sport. It's the ultimate team sport. We literally hear that 100 times, multiple times a week, on all different broadcasts. But when we have these conversations, we just throw that out the window. Funny how that works. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the San Francisco 49ers? More likely that they hit the ceiling or the floor? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.